Okay, so we're gonna get started real soon, and got some feedback in here. Trying to see whose mic that is. Okay, hey, excuse me, to the brother on the phone, I'm gonna mute you, but I'm gonna unmute you real quick. But it's a lot of noise in the background. Can you just state your name real quick?
Shahi L.
You're in Columbus?
Yes, sir. Philip Walton, Shahi L.
Oh, brother, we just spoke on the phone. Okay, Islam.
Yes. Islam, how you been?
I'm doing great, brother. Okay, hang on one second. I'm just gonna mute your phone. Philip Walden and L. That's L, right, brother?
Oh.
L. Okay, got you. Thanks.
Yep.
Brother Walt, glad you could join us.
All right, so before we get started, real quick, well, two things. First, the brother Davis L. brother Ross Davis L. He just put his, excuse the dog in the background. He just put his contact information in the chat. This brother has turbans. Anyone that's interested in turbans, make sure you contact him. The information's in the chat. If you can't see the chat, just send, if you're on Facebook, you can send us a message and we'll send that information to you. If you're in the Ohio Moorish chat group, you could just, Brother David Sell could share it in there too. So that's for anyone interested in turbans. And then before we get started, we do roll call like every meeting. I see the sister, peace, Islam to the sister, Amatullah Bay. She put her info in there. Everyone, make sure you just put your name and location and a contact. If we don't already have your contact information, put that in the chat as well. Okay, and we're just gonna, everybody just state your name and location. You can put your email and phone number in the chat. All right, and I'm Brother Lloyd Douglas L. out of Columbus, Ohio. I'm a chairman of Moslem Mission 30, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Brother Cremus Jones Bay, Columbus, Ohio.
Islam, Brother Jeffrey Simon Bay, Mission 30, Columbus, Ohio.
Islam, Sister Candace Jones Bay, Columbus, Ohio.
What is it? Islam, Stefan Forster, L, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Tavares Young, no official affiliation at the time, out of Marietta, California.
What is that?
Islam, brother, Islam, brother, can you state your name one more time? Couldn't hear you. I got your location, Marietta, California. Couldn't hear your name.
Tavares Young. Did you get that?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Peace, Ross Davis L. Southern California, Ohio.
Islam, Stacey Lachey, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Peace and love, Mike McAllister, out of Columbus, Ohio.
Islam, Brother Jay Cole Bay, Dayton, Ohio.
Jackson Bay, Dayton, Ohio.
Islam, Al Rashid Bay, Middletown, Ohio. My brother Houston Walker. I just sent his information in the chat. He's also in the group call with us tonight as well.
Islam, Amatullah Fahima Bay, Columbus, Ohio.
Islam, Sister Drew, Les Douglas L, Mission 30, Columbus, Ohio.
Islam, Brother Brandon Graham Thomas Bay, Waldorf, Maryland, as well as Tracy Plater of Waldorf, Maryland as well. All right, Islam is done. I think we got everybody now. All right. I want to thank you, Morris, for coming in. Brother Walden L, I'm gonna mute you real quick. This is a noise in the background, but just stick around, and we're gonna have an open session once we get through with our Quran lesson. I'm mute you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to thank all you Moors for coming in. All right, we're about to get started. For those that are new, just hang around. We do a Quran lesson every Friday, every holy day, and then we have open session. We have a few things to announce to everybody, but we also have open session. Just whatever questions you have. If you're wondering what we're doing here, we're a Moslem Mission of the Moorish Temple of America, just starting out a temple here in Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio, and also the surrounding areas. All right, and we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you are able to, please rise and face the east. And the sister's going to lead us in the Moorish American prayer. 1 second. All right, so please repeat after her. And like I was saying, if you're able to, face the right, stand up straight. Put your arms up perpendicular. All right, you're gonna hold 2 fingers up on the right, 5 fingers up on the left, and repeat after the sister.
Islam, Allah,
Allah,
the Father of the universe,
Father of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love,
truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night and by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen.
Amen. All right, Islam. Okay, I want to announce that the meeting is now open, but first and foremost, we always rise. We always give the highest praise to the Most High, the Father of the universe, Allah. We give honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality, returning our divine creed to us, without whom we would not even know, that we were Moorish Americans. Islam. We also give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, and that's Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Give honors to all the 8-up sheiks, all the faithful Moors that make up the grand body of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. In addition to this, we give honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. A lot of people don't know that the Prophet actually established our government. He actually established the Supreme Grand Council and appointed the head, the Supreme Grand Sheikh. First appointed was Brother Edward Mealy Ill. We give honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh, brother actually from Columbus, from here, Brother Keith Dandridge L. And then we also give honors to the Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and honors to all you L's and Bays out there. Honors to all of you for being on this call. Islam, Islamism. Brother Jackson Bay, will you please read the Divine Constitution and Bylaws? It's on the screen too for people who are on the app.
I rise giving perfect praise to Allah, honors to his prophet, and honors to the Moors. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, The Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4, all members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5, this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7, all members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Noble Jew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Jew Ali, home office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Happy Holy Day, Muslims.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. Islamism. Real quick, if this is your first time calling, make sure you leave your phone number or email in the chat. I got you, brother Walden L. and sister Amatullah. I believe we already have your contact, but if anyone else, if it's your first time, make sure you leave your contact info in the chat. Real quick though.
Leave your contact info in the chat.
Islam. Thank you. That's the secretary. Islam. So, real quick though, we meet on Friday. The brother just read Act 2. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in the flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for Muslims all over the world. Real quick, I just want you to know this is not just something that we just randomly just threw out here. It's definitely not something that we made up, not something that the prophet just made up. We're not just blindly doing this. Okay, this is the holy day. All right, this is the 6th day, and we meet on this day every day, no matter what. I mean, we meet at the God hour, like Brother Walden L. said earlier, at 7, but we meet on this 6th day because this really is the day in which man came into the flesh and the day on which man will ascend unto his Father God Allah. If you can see that right up here on the screen, That's the Kabbalah tree of life. This is ancient. It's in all ancient cultures. In ancient Egypt, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the ancient Egyptians over here, the ancient Olmecs, whatever you want to call it, right? Because Egypt was a worldwide civilization. This ancient knowledge and information was everywhere. And with this example of the Kabbalah tree of life, you see the 10 spears on here, right? These represent different planes of existence. At the top, you have the spiritual plane, right? Like these first 3, you see how they're numbered 1, 2, 3. That's like in the spiritual plane. Then 4 and 5, you're going into the soul plane, and then 6. That's the 6th day. That just happens to be where man is. Okay, from the perspective of this metaphysical, diagram of which is supposed to be a diagram of our reality. The 6th day is where man is. Okay, that's where man came into the flesh, because as you go down 7, 8, 9, and then 10, Malkuth at the very bottom, very, very deeply rooted into the physical realm. That's where you're getting into the physical, and you see how that 6th is situated. The way it is situated. Man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed, right? We're of the spiritual realm and of the physical realm. Okay, so we are in that 6th day, and so we also meet on this Friday, this 6th day, to hold to that, so that we keep this in remembrance, and also so that we're passing this on, to our children and raising them up in this culture as well. So we hold to it so that we can be strong in this, right? And so, that's why we hold to this faithfully. It's not just, just some blind, ritual for us. We're doing, it is a ritual, but we're holding to it, and we have knowledge of what that means. Okay. So remember, with that 6th spear counted from the top 3, it's exactly in the middle region, in the soul plane going down into the physical. All right. And that's where man is. And so remember this, and that's, this ties right back into the Quran. The Quran, but also right there in the Divine Constitution where we're reading. We are in that 6th day. That's the 6th period. That's the manifest creation. Manifest creation. Okay. And so, we're holding to that because it's powerful, and we're keeping this alive. Or our prophet returned this ancient wisdom and culture, customs, traditions, everything to us. Islam. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Today we're doing chapter 5 from the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're going to go ahead and read from that and build on it. And then we're going to just speak on some things really quickly that we need to share with everybody. And the floor will be open to questions. Also, if you have any questions on what we're speaking on, feel free to open, just to ask. Feel free to speak up. All right. So we're getting started. Chapter 5. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him. His parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth. All right. And then the symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tools. All right. And so, okay, before we go in on this, we'll just discuss this really quickly, to give you an idea of what we're going to be speaking on with chapter 5. Remember now, the first, chapters 2 through 19 in the Holy Quran are speaking on the life and works of the prophet Jesus. And this is a necessary tool for the awakening of our people, because these lessons were hidden. They weren't put into the Holy Bible. They were kept out, or kept from us. All right. But the time was set for us to be released to the world. All right. And just with us reading chapter 5 today, it's good to get the metaphysical meaning behind that, so that you understand what is being shared with us and why. All right. Nothing is being done just for no reason. Like 5, okay, that's 2 plus 3. That's the working of wisdom and understanding, right? Wisdom is the awareness of the presence and power of God within you. All right. And then understanding is the application of the God power in your everyday lives. And 5 also is a symbol of of a disciplined imagination. All right. Because imagination is actually a tool that you use. That's a power that you use to bring things into manifestation. So whatever you imagine and feel to be true is going to come to pass. So you're being given tools, or you're going to be shown something that's going to help you apply the God power that's in you in your everyday affairs. And that God power that's in you, one of those tools or ways of exercising that power is in imagination, believe it or not. All right. So it's important to know 5 is a symbol of imagination discipline. All right. All right. And so we're talking about the symbolic meaning of the Carpenter's tools, you know, which is the tools of the workshop of the mind. So we're going to use these tools to control the God power within us, or to have a discipline, to work it to your benefit. So this is really important, and, you know, important for everybody to pay attention. And then, of course, this is talking about Jesus as a child, and Jesus is the I, or the I am identity in man. All right. The divine understanding within man. Okay. So there's gonna be some key lessons in here, and once again, like, you just know, okay, if you know that's what 5 means, you know what to look for, you're gonna be getting some tools that's gonna help you use the God power within you in a disciplined manner, using it to your benefit. Like, and that's important, because what are they doing with the news? What's in the media? They pushing fear, right? Constantly pushing fear. It's always something else. They're pushing I don't even have to name all this stuff, right? We all know about it. That's why everything's shut down. But then, like, as if that wasn't enough, then they come out with the murder hornets, right? Like, it's just crazy. And then, and now they amping up the killings again, right? Just shooting innocent so-called Black people, innocent Asiatic people, right? And they're gonna amp them up. Somebody, okay.
Islam.
So yeah, to the one real quick, sister, real quick. Somebody asked, is this written in the Circle 7? So we're on chapter 5 in the Circle 7. I'm gonna read from it, but before we're reading from it, just trying to give people an idea, you know, of what it means. Like, even the chapter 5 has symbolic meaning. That's what I'm saying. 5 represents, you know, the working of wisdom and understanding. And then wisdom is the awareness of the presence and the power of God within you. And the understanding is the application of the God power within you. And then 5 is also a symbol of the imagination, the disciplined imagination. And the imagination is is one of the tools. That's how you use the God power within you in your own imagination. Because whatever you imagine and feel to be true is going to come to pass. And that's the truth. All right. So this is showing you how to mold that in your favor, because the media is trying to use your imagination against you. They're trying to get you stuck on fear. That's why they hit you with the hornets. They, you know, gunning some people down, right? In the midst of all this craziness that's going on, they pushing it up, and they really aiming at us, taking shots at us, right? Because they want to control us and how we're thinking, and also our imagination, our power. They want us to create, you know, things that are not working to our benefit. So it's extremely important for everybody to listen to this and get these tools, use these tools of the workshop of the mind on a daily basis. All right. Extremely important. And I'm sorry, sister, go ahead.
Islam. I rise to give praise to Allah, the Father of the universe. I also rise to give honor to his prophet, Nabu Ali. I like to add on to what you was just saying about how, you know, they know when to shoot shots at our people, because our people are very emotional. And by our people not knowing who they are, it's easy to get us riled up and out of pocket, because as soon as we jump out of pocket, they hem us up. They do whatever they want to us, because we are classified as legally dead, as slaves, chattel property. Chattel property have no rights. So they know if I aggravate them enough, they're gonna act real dumb, and then we could bag them. Islam. So this is very important. This information that's in this Circle 7 Holy Koran of the Moorish Temple of America, because by us just simply knowing who we are and holding tight to our principles, our 5 principles, we know how to act. We know how to conduct ourselves. We know to have a Rotarian complexion and to be upright and noble. And within our society, It is known before the governments of the world, and they are not allowed to do that to us. So with us, our people have to proclaim their nationality so that they can be done right in this world.
Islamism. All right, and that's true. We also have to move as a collective, okay, in our proper status, because it's not good enough for just like you to be out here by yourself and somebody on the other side of town. You know, we have to be moving, you know, like everyone else as a collective and organized. So okay, so what I was just doing though before, just trying to set the tone for chapter 5. So remember, you know what 5 means. This is important. These are giving you keys that are going to show you how to discipline the God power within you, okay, aka your imagination. All right. Okay. So verse 1, the great feast of the Pasch was ended, and the Nazarenes were journeying towards their homes, and they were in Samaria. And Mary said, "Where's my son? No one has seen the boy." And Joseph sought among their kindred who were on their way to Galilee, but they had seen him not. And then Joseph, Mary, and the son of Zebedee returned and sought through all Jerusalem, but they could find him not. And Mary asked the guards, had they seen Jesus, a little boy about 12 years old? The guards replied, "Yes, he's in the temple now, disputing with the doctors of the law." And they went in and found him as the guards had said. And right there, with Jesus in the temple, right, at the age of 12 years, that represents the growing consciousness within us that we're all sons of God. And that's you can see something corresponding with that in the Bible in Luke chapter 2, verses 40 through 52. All right. Verse 7 saying, and they went in and found him as the guards had said. And Mary said, "Why, Jesus, why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you. We feared that some great harm had overtaken you." And Jesus said, "Do you not know that I must be about my Father's work?" Oh, I'm gonna pause real quick for anyone who just came in. If you are able to hear me, make sure you leave your name, location, and contact info in the chat. Okay, but real quick right here, verses 9 through 11, okay? And Jesus said, "Do you not know that I must be about my Father's work?" But he went round and pressed the hand of every doctor of the law and said, "I trust that we meet again." And then he went forth with his parents on their way to Nazareth, And when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter. And right, with Jesus, you know, being a carpenter, okay, and being about his Father's work. What is a carpenter, right? Because he's actually, you know, it's symbolic. He's constructing the new temple of man. He's constructing the new body temple. All right, because the carpenter is the one who plans and builds the houses. All right, so symbolically, you know, him being about his Father's work, right, and constructing, he's building the temple of man. Okay. One day, as he was bringing forth the tools for work, he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things were made of thought and where we build up character." Okay, and so this, once again, we have to pay attention to this. And just in case didn't hear, to everybody that's new, first time calling, make sure you leave your name, location, and phone number, email in the chat. All right, so moving forward, it's important to pay attention to these tools of the workshop of the mind, because remember, we're saying, just with this being chapter 5, you know, even without knowing what it's about, that this is going to be telling you how to apply the God power within you to your benefit, you know, how to work it in a disciplined manner, right? Why do we know that? Because the prophet, you know, was an adept. He was an Egyptian adept. And he's bringing ancient wisdom, returning us to our, to our ancient and divine creed. And so nothing is just being done, right? Just thrown out there. You're not just throwing this against the wall. So the 5 is letting you know that, okay, this is giving you tools that you need to use on an everyday basis, to apply the God power. All right. And so, and then that God power, remember, that's your imagination. Okay. They're not telling you that, but that's what it is. So, we use the square to measure all our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square, right? So this is something that's supposed to be taking place within all of us. Like, we can't be on each other about this. Everyone's supposed to know this within our society so that we don't have the problems that, we're having in a greater society, as a whole. We use the compass to draw circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it is a part of every part. Okay, so we're making, living in truth, right? Love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice, a way of life, an everyday way of life. We use the plane to smooth the rough, uneven surfaces of joint and block and board that go to build the temple for the truth. The chisel, line, the plummet, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love. On it, we climb up to the dome of purity and life. And on that 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build, the temple of perfected man. Okay, and so just with that, temple of perfected man, walking up that 12-step ladder, we're going to see that again in here too, in chapter 12. But like that 12-step ladder that Jesus climbs on to reach the pinnacle of perfected man, those are the 12 maxims of truth. Okay, and that's actually going to be given to us in chapter 12, which is no coincidence, right? The 12 maxims of truth are in chapter 12, but that's Jacob's ladder, right? And that represents the step-by-step realization. It's the means that man can assimilate the divine ideas of truth that come to him from Allah. And remember, 12 always refers to spiritual fulfillment. So you're climbing the 12-step ladder for spiritual fulfillment, right? Remember Elijah in Kings, 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 31-32 says, and Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob. And with the stones, he built an altar in the names of Jehovah. And the 12 stones represent the 12 most important nerve centers in the body. So remember this, all material things represent spiritual realities. Everything has dual meanings or multiple meanings because we're what? We're multi-dimensional beings. All right. The guardians of the temples could be overridden by the 12 witnesses, the 12 lights. You have the 12 messengers, the 12 apostles, of course, the 12 tribes of Israel. And then on the physical level, in science, we have the 12 cranial nerves, right? And the 12 cranial nerves work in unity to give account or witness as to the conditions of each of the organs or the temples or the offices of our body. And they give the account to the all-seeing eye within us. And the ancient Egyptians had names for this too, right? And that's why the Hebrews had the 12 disciples. All right. And why is it like this? It's within the body. And then we see this represented in our spiritual systems because the human body is the temple of God. All right. So remember this 12 always refers to spiritual fulfillment. And so we're given the tools in here on how to work the power of Allah within us, Islam. So it's important to even to go over this on your own, just to look over that and to make this the application of that knowledge and wisdom in everyday part of your life. I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor. Anybody has any questions or anything they want to add to this measure, please feel free to speak up. We're just going to speak on a few more things, and then it's just open floor. You're unmuted, Brother Walden L. But if anybody has anything to say, feel free to speak up.
I just wanted to add that on the 12, I wanted to build on that because it's, we have the 12 signs of the zodiac, Islam, and then they split up into 4s. So we have the first 4 represents the globes or the fathers, then the next 4 represents the power, and then the next 4 represents the lords. And like you said, we could break down that 12 into so many different things, but it's so significant and spiritual. Islam.
Yes, I just wanted to add on Islam. My apologies. I just wanted to add on that the ladder looks like a ruler, and it takes 12 inches to make a ruler.
Islam.
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 And then look at the name, a ruler. Islam.
Yes, ma'am. Islam.
Islam. So if anybody has anything they wanted to add to this, like later on, feel free to speak up. I'm gonna go ahead and share some more information. Okay, real quick, want to speak on the census. I don't know if you've received the census form in the mail asking you to participate or not. I know everybody has like different I guess feels differently about it. I don't know how, you personally feel about it, but from the perspective of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're advising all Moors to participate in the census and to put correct your name and race or nationality on the census, right? Give the government basically notice of your race correction. And the reason we're asking everyone to do this is because, it's twofold. First off, if you don't participate in it, unless like if you have your own place, your own apartment, house, whatever, you're going to get it in the mail. Say you don't participate. Unless you're just like off the radar, you're going to get counted some way or another. I mean, they may just count it and maybe they couldn't get anybody to, tell what you look like, so they don't know what to put for your race. But if they could like talk to somebody or they see you or something, they're just gonna put, if you look like me, they're just gonna put black. You're gonna get counted one way or another. So and then also this is a tool that's been used over the years to mark us, right? Like since going back to the 1700s, right? They've been marking us, maybe even before that, but since the 1700s, they've been marking us as, Indians, Negroes, of course, colored, black, African American, right? So we advise everybody to give notice, to go ahead and state your race as Asiatic, right? We advise everybody to put on there, no matter what, at least, right, check the box that says some other race and write it Asiatic, put a space, put Moorish. Everything that we're advising the government has within their hierarchical race codes, Asiatic, Moorish, ties you in to the ancient Moabites. You could just do that and be good. You could also check the box where it's saying American Indian and then write in Moor. Under this code for Moor, it has all of the tribes, right? It's not like specific to, the Washita Moor, the Lenape, the Delaware Moors, or, just one, it's all tribes. It signifies all of them. And it's truly wonderful what the prophet established for us, because just by declaring that you are Moor, that ties you in to all of the tribes. This is a great unifier. All right. And some people have taken other steps or measures where trying to get recognized with the different federally recognized tribes within the government. And there's a problem with that because you have to jump through so many hoops, right? You have to go back through your own records. Even though they've marked all our ancestors, you know, as Negro and all this other stuff, you have to go back through your records to find one that got marked as Indian. And, you know, and try to find different documents and things like Dawes rolls and things that can tie you into a tribe, which they can just erase you from just like that. Why? Because you have to be federally recognized. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. Why? Because we have our own society that the Prophet established. Prophet Noble Drew Ali established a religious society / body politic in Illinois, in Cook County, Illinois. And when he established the religious society in 1928, it was religious society / body politic. He activated the body politic portion of it by the moves that he was making, like setting up, establishing our own economy, going to the Pan American Conference in Cuba and representing us as a head of state, being recognized as a head of state. He took several steps that classified this religious society as a body politic. And a body politic is a nation state that's capable of governing itself. And when he did this, he created an autonomous society, or, you know, a society that's capable of governing itself. Technically, by the way that the government, or excuse me, the USA would define it, it would be a sovereign nation state that's capable of governing itself. Okay? And so he created a society just kind of like, you could say, like the Indian tribes, where they have their own tribal government, their own jurisdiction and everything. But we don't have to be federally recognized. You just come into our society with our Supreme Grand Sheikh and Supreme Grand Council, our grand body, you know, our own governing structure. We come in, we proclaim within ours. We don't have to do all this stuff to hope y'all recognize us. Maybe, you know, like the Cherokees, where they kicked out all the so-called Black Cherokees because they were trying to get some federal aid and they want to split it with them. It can't happen with us. We don't have to apply to anyone else. We do it within our society. And it's already been recognized, and it's just waiting for more of us to come in and move properly as a unit. All right, and now's the time. And we can see, you know, most of us are already conscious. We don't need to see shootings and killings in the stores closing down and all this stuff to know we have to get it together. All right, so it's time. It's time, and it's been past time. But this is one of the moves that we're just advising everyone to make as a collective. There's several other benefits from all of us moving as a collective, letting it be known that we're all Moors, Asiatic. We're all in, you know, several different districts. We all have our own representatives to represent these numbers, these people in these districts, right? There's several benefits to it. All right. But I'm just going to keep it moving. If anyone has any questions, though, you know, feel free to speak up.
I guess, can you hear me?
Yeah. Pete.
Okay, I guess I also have a question. My name is Michael McAllister. This is my first time at a meeting like this, and I ended up being in one of these meetings just because, you know, I've been pondering a lot of different ideas with the history I've been seeing lately, and one of them really was the idea of being Black. And when I realized that Black doesn't have any ties to anything. So when I think about it, I realize that I can't be Black if Black is nothing. So I guess my first question would be, like, in terms of Noble Drew Ali. Like, I heard something about, like, how what he said was reinforced by Riber's Law. Did you know what Riber's Law was?
Can you spell that? Riber's Law?
Oh, Riber's with an R.
Rivier? Is it Rivier? Like, oh no. Okay, Riber's Law. No, I haven't. No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, actually, I got another question. It has something to do with, like, the body politic. So like I just got done reading Malcolm X's autobiography, and he was part of the Nation of Islam. So when I thought about the Nation of Islam when he was in prison and how he adopted being a Muslim, what's the difference between how Islam is practiced, like say the Nation of Islam opposed to the Moorish Science Temple of America? Like and the whole tie with the Islamism, because I don't understand how the Islamism works. I don't understand like if it's a body politic or if it's a real like belief system.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna answer that. Glad you asked that question. Okay, so all right, first I'm just gonna address what Islam is for Moorish Americans, speak on the Nation of Islam really quickly, the connection. And if there's anything that I didn't answer, just remind me. Okay, so as far as Islam, like what Islam is for Moorish Americans, I'm just gonna read from the Prophet because we always keep the Prophet out front. We actually have some literature from the Prophet. It's basically called "What is Islam?" So it doesn't get any simpler than that. Okay, and so I'm gonna read the whole thing, but here we go. Islam is a very simple faith. It requires man to recognize his duties towards God Allah, his creator, and his fellow creatures. It teaches the supreme duty of living at peace with one's surroundings. It is preeminently the religion of peace, right? So Islam, the word like salam, that means peace, shalom, salam, and that's the root word of Islam. And the goal of man's life, according to Islam, is peace with everything, peace with Allah, and peace with man. I'm going to skip ahead. The object of man's life, according to Islam, is its complete unfoldment. Islam teaches that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress. That brings me to the Quran of Mecca. Have a surah we always share here in Moslem Mission 30. Can somebody take over for me? Somebody tell me surah. What is surah 2 ayat 30 say? Just a brief idea. Islam.
It's the conversation. God was having a conversation with the angels, and he said, I'm going to put a viceroy in the earth. And a viceroy, the definition of a viceroy is a person exercising power on behalf of a sovereign.
Islam. Okay, so we're going to pause really quick right there. So the brother shared that Allah was speaking to the angels about his creation, and he said that he's going to create a viceroy on earth, and he's talking about man, not specific, to religion, not gender specific, talking about us. We're Allah's vice regent on earth, and then the vice regent or the viceroy is the ruler on behalf of a sovereign, on behalf of God. And from a Christian perspective, the only viceroy, the only vice regent of God on earth is the Pope. Okay, but something just happened recently. The Pope recently vacated the title of Viceroy of Christ, or Vicer, okay, of God. All right. Pope recently vacated that title. Let me pull that up. Yep. Okay, here we go. If you
Pope Francis.
Screen, yeah, Pope Francis drops Vicer of Christ title. All right, and this just happened last month in April. So all this is happening because it's in alignment with what's going on in the times. These really are the end times. And we had the prophet, he came, he brought us this, he returned this to us by returning us to Islam, true Islam, in the truest sense, because what I just read, that's universal. That's not specific to one region of the world, like the desert. It's not specific, like we don't have to learn to speak Arabic, not knocking it at all. It's beautiful. I'm just saying we already have it. So he's returning this to us, and by the Quran of Mecca, right? This is the Quran is revealed to Prophet Muhammad in Surah 2, Ayat 30. The Lord, Allah said to the angels, I will create a vice regent on earth. And he's talking about us. So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali returned us to this, which is revealing God in man. And the fact that the Pope recently dropped that title, saying that he's the vicer, not just of Christ, but the vicer of God, because the Christ, is God and man. Did he dropped that title because it's time. This is the end times. All of their stuff, all of Rome, all of that stuff is falling. Okay, it's falling. They're infighting. Their earthly representative of God just vacated his title. Okay, and some of them, like their cardinals, their bishops, they're angry that he did this. He had to. It's time for us to rise up. And so if we don't step up to the plate and take our part, you know, we're just going to continue to suffer under those who pretend to be us in secret. There's another picture I need to show you so that you can get an idea of who is trying to, who's going to take that baton and run with it if we don't. All right. You might already have an idea, but let me see. Okay. And I'm going to show this. I'm not trying to down anyone, but it is what it is. Hang on. Peace.
Islam, I like to add to us a better understanding as a question, to answer his question. There's no right or wrong way to practice Islam. There's no compulsion in Islam. So the Prophet gave us Islamism for that cause, for us to be able to practice Islam under our customs and our traditions that our ancient forefathers have for us, Islam. So you, like our brothers in the East, the way they practice, the women cover up from head to toe, all that, that's wonderful, but we don't got to do that. Our prophet came here, a prophet of a people, looks like the people and speaks the same language as the people, Islam. We do not speak Arabic. We can learn Arabic, yes, but that's not our native tongue. We speak English. Our prophet came here looking like his people and speaking English so that we could understand Islam. So we don't have to go and get stuff translated and mistranslated. So as long as we practice in peace with everything and peace with ourselves, nobody could tell us the way we are practicing Islam is incorrect. Islam?
Islam, and thank you. Oh, go ahead, brother.
Now I was just going to add to the part of Islamism. The difference between Islam and Islamism is you have to do a little research. Before 1938, that's all it was called, was Islamism. And Islamism is the faith of Muhammad. Where after 1938, it just became a purely Arabic thing when it came back out as Islamism. And you could go to Wikipedia and actually type in Islamism and go down to terminology, and you'll see everything that I just said here. So it was a variation. And if you look at the dates, 1938, that's when the I believe World War II started. And World War II started, before that, World War I ended, and the Ottoman Empire had fell prior in the first World War. And in our Quran, it says the Turks, which the Ottomans were the Turks, are the true defenders of Islam. So after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, the Arabics rose. The Saudi Arabians rose, and they came out, and then this is where you get no God but Allah, and you can only talk about Muhammad and all of this other stuff. Whereas we practice in Islam, we practice it in, like the sister said, with our own customs here in the North America. So that's all. I just wanted to add that, just an extra clarification on Islam, between Islam and Islamism. So that's all.
All right, thank you. So they both gave a great demonstration on what Islam is. For us, it's returning to our universal divine creed, something that's, not limited, is actually universal, right? Islam is, being at peace, at oneness with the universe. You have the ism on there, which is making it a way of life. Okay, and what I was saying earlier with the Quran stating that, Allah placed us here as viceers or vice regents, rulers on his behalf. Okay, and the Pope dropped that title, meaning it's our time. And if we don't want to accept it and do it, you see these, this picture with these, I guess you could say Shriners, wearing a fez that says Moslem on it. And, they will gladly pretend to be us and rule on our behalf. right? As long as they can, okay? Because we're supposed to step up to the plate and be who we are. And with what you were saying with the Nation of Islam, it's all peace, it's all love. That Nation of Islam actually started out or has roots in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Allegedly, the founder, I've seen a role, I guess you could say like a membership role, showing a brother named Robert Poole Bay and his sister Clara Poole Bay, and that's it's supposed to be Elijah Muhammad and his sister Clara Muhammad. They actually were in the temple in Detroit, and so they actually started out of one of the temples when the Moorish Science Temple of America started to fall after the disarray that happened when Prophet Noble Drew Ali died. The temple in Detroit was fallen because its leader had actually left the country, and it turned into Allah Temple 7 for the Nation of Islam. And they started out wearing fezzes and everything. And, you know, they brought their own beautiful demonstration to it too, you know, not knocking it, you know, not saying anything bad about it. It's all love. But it actually started out of it. Actually, a lot of Islamic movements wound up coming out of the foundation set by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because nobody was actually practicing Islam out in the open like this, and especially people that look like us. He opened the doors for everyone, even the Muslims, you know, the foreigners that came over here practicing Islam later on. They have freedoms to practice their religion based off of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali built, you know. But like the nations of Islam, you know, I mean, ultimately their teaching should be letting people know that God is within them, you know, which is in alignment with what we understand as well. And just to finish off what the Prophet said about Islam, it just, when I was saying about the Quran telling us that we're all vice regents of Allah, Islam teaches that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress. Doesn't support the idea that man was born in sin. That's what they teach you in Christianity, right? Right off the bat, you have original sin because of what Adam and Eve did. We all born in sin. That wasn't for us. That's why we return that to the European. All right, so we don't support that idea. Islam teaches everyone has within them the seed of perfect development and rests solely with himself to make or mar his fortune. All right, so you know, ultimately we don't want to harm any beings on the earth at all. You know, it's something that's holy and transcendent. It's something that's universal, and we're about being in peace. You know, living in peace and making this a way of life. So that's what we practice. I hope that answered the question. All right. So
I'm sorry, yeah. I thought my mic was unmuted. But yeah, that definitely answers the question, especially with like the ambiguity I have between what Islam was and Islamism. Because when I actually just recently heard about Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, and it's weird that it took me, I'm 24, and I heard about it a few months ago, and then I started looking into Noble Drew Ali and why he was like described as a prophet. But yeah, all right, thanks. I appreciate that.
Right, Islam, and you know, from a perspective even of the Quran of Mecca, he would meet the qualifications for being a prophet, because in the Quran, I don't have the exact surah in my mind, sorry, forgive me, but it says that a prophet, a messenger, must come from amongst the people, just like the sister said earlier. It says that in the Quran of Mecca, that he must come from amongst the people and speaking their language. All right, and nobody solved our issues. I mean, we've had several leaders, several people who have tried to, you know, help uplift us. Nobody really solved that issue except for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You know, they had disconnected us, you know, from our illustrious past and who we are as a people. And they had put us into a box that they created specifically to be able to abuse. You know, the Negro was a creation. It's something they made that's quasi-human. It's not even, it's like the missing link. You know, it's despicable and it's crazy, you know, especially when you actually look into what it means. It's crazy, you know, and they wrote all of these books and things defining it. And, you know, some of the stuff, like I'll show you real quick, the Negro Law, right, of 1740, which basically says that the Negro is confined to slave Africans and their descendants. And then it says it doesn't embrace the free inhabitants of Africa like the Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as the Lascars. Lascars are like the dark-skinned Indian people, Hindu people. Okay, so it's just confined to slave Africans. So if you're a Negro, you're just a slave African. You're some slave of African descent. Okay, and that's it. You don't really have ancestors. You can't claim to be the people that built the pyramids and all of these things, because those people, you know, have a culture and civilization. The Negro is something that's outside of that, and it still is. They can't come out and talk like they could in the 1700s, and then later on in the black codes came in the 1800s. They can't talk like that anymore now. So now it's just hidden in Federal Directive 15, which you can see on the screen. All right, where black is the only race category that is disconnected from the original people of the world. Everyone else is an original people except for black. For black, the definition is a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. That's not a coincidence. They can't come out and say black is confined to slave Africans, because that would be too obvious. So they got to code it. Black racial groups. They think we're stupid. You know, we're not gonna see this. It's the jig is up. It's over. They can't hide this anymore. It's out. We've exposed it. And so, you know, the prophet actually exposed this. And so, you know, some people that are Moors will say, well, let's put white. White says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, Middle East, or North Africa. Well, there's a problem with that. First off, we're not playing the color game anymore. Second off, we're defining who we are. We're not going under anything they define. And then second off, that's about to change. People from the Middle East and North Africa have a group. They're like actually organized. They call it MENA, M-E-N-A, Middle East and North Africa. They're fighting, even though for years they fought to be classified as white so that they could not be at the bottom of the totem pole. Now they want their own category. Pretty soon, white is not going to say original people of Europe, Middle East, and North Africa, because there's going to be another category called MENA, and that's going to be the original people of Middle East and North Africa. And white is just going to say original people of Europe. So no, we don't put white. No, we don't put black. Yes, we do check our own. Actually, by checking other and writing Asiatic Moorish, that just ties you in to the ancient Moroccan Empire, which expanded, or dominions, which expanded the entire globe. You can just leave it at that. You can also put American Indian and write in more, and they have this within their classifications, or excuse me, not classifications, but within their hierarchical race codes. It shows more, and then you have all the tribes connected to it. All right? And that doesn't matter if you're from the Caribbean, you're Taino, right? We have, I think, brother from Haiti, wife of Haitian descent, right? Doesn't matter. These are Arawak people. It doesn't matter. More, you could put the same exact thing that we put. You check the American Indian box, write in M-O-O-R, and then you check the some other race box and you write in Asiatic Moorish. That's not denying your Haitian or Jamaican roots. That's not denying, say, because there's some of us who may actually, like, say you're from Louisiana and you're like Mardi Gras Indian or Washita or something like that. That's not denying any of that. All of that falls up under it because the Moorish dominions expanded the entire globe. Everywhere you find pyramids and ancient temples, ancient civilizations, those were Moors. And that's how come, like that picture that I just showed on the screen, you have, there's people who will gladly pretend to be Moors. They can't be Moors. They can only pretend. And they'll gladly do it if you won't. They'll even say that they're Muslims in secret. Not knocking it, because, you know, we don't talk radical about other groups. Not knocking it, but we're revealers of the light. As a Moorish American Muslim, I'm a revealer of the light, not a concealer. So I can speak openly about things like this. We're not pretending. There's no point. Everybody on here should be ready to join and work together with your Moors to build this up, because we are not trying to pass this burden on to our children. Come on. We're not trying to pass, I'm not trying to put this on a baby. I mean, it's bad enough that we had to figure this out, right? Not knocking our parents, grandparents. It's bad enough that we had to figure it out, though, right? We're not trying to pass this on to the next generation. So, yes, this is the key. Yes, a prophet of Allah brought this to us. You know why? Because it took divine intervention to help us to correct this situation. All right. And after that, now it's on us to follow the blueprint that was set. He lived the life, he walked the footsteps. That's why we also have the hidden lessons of Jesus's life in here, because he walked the steps and showed you the way to reveal Allah within and to connect to the higher power within. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did the same thing with his life in a short amount of time. So all we have to do is follow the blueprint and put it into action now. Islam. And so, yeah, we advise everybody to do that on the census. Also to work with us, communicate with us with the temple, whether you're joining or you're just going to work with us, you know, because you see the light in following the prophet. All right. And, you know, in whatever capacity you want to work with us, build with us so that we can get this done, because it's time. We can't, you know, keep playing around here. We see all of the things that are going on. The Pope stepping down, vacating the Viceroy of Christ title, because it's us. It's our time. That's why they had to put a Barack Obama in office, you know, a few years ago, because it was our time. That's why all of these things are happening in the skies, in the planet. You know, everything is happening right now because these are the end times. The end times is just the changing, the shift over, you know, in power. All right. But if we're not active on this, we'll come into power under someone else's terms. Right. And that's not how we want to do this. Is because we see how they've done running things. We see how they do trying to be righteous, or, you know, with their religion. Right. They burn their fellow Christians. They hang their fellow Christians from trees. So it's time for us to come back to our own fold, to act in accordance. And I implore everybody to get behind the prophet and move as a unit. Islam. That's all that I wanted to share, though, about the that's the national strategy as far as the census is concerned. If anyone has any questions or anything they want to ask, add, announce, feel free to speak up. I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor. Islam.
I was just going to add that time never was when man was not. So there is no ending. It's only a new beginning. And, you know, by us starting off with the right foot and knowing who we are and practicing our principles and our divine creed and nationality, we're always going to be where we're supposed to be. Islam.
All right. Yeah, before we go into closing, though, if anyone has anything they want to say or ask, feel free to speak up.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? This Tavares out in Marietta. I heard one sister ask earlier when I said that she asked kind of where that's at. I'm in Southern California, but I might be in what might be considered a conservative belt a little bit. So I'm out here. I feel like I'm by myself, so that's why I'm here in these meetings, trying to connect with people that think like me, because there ain't too many around me where I live. So I appreciate everything. I'm taking in all this information, appreciating the knowledge. I will acknowledge that I was a very I was a Christian, and I haven't denounced that title yet. I do believe in God. I believe in Allah. I believe our God has multiple names. So I believe everybody that mentions in Allah, God, or Yahweh, or whatever you want to call them, we all talking about the same thing. And the reason I'm even in these groups listening is because what I learned, you know, during my time as a Christian, is that you're supposed to always be questioning and always seeking the truth and gaining knowledge. So That's what I'm
Islam.
doing. That's what I'm doing here.
Islam, brother. We're glad to have you coming into the light.
Islam, praise Allah. And just based off what you said, brother, you are practicing Islamism because we're all scientists and students of the Most High, and we are supposed to question. And as long as we're doing it peacefully and learning, you know, it's a beautiful thing, Islam.
Islam.
Islam, that's beautiful. Yeah, Sister Barry, you have your hand up. Okay. Is the sister still in the room? Had a hand up. Also to the two people calling in, one with the 678 area code and the other one with the 770 area code. Can you please state your name, location, name and location?
I'm sorry, I had it on mute. Yeah, I'm Rita, and my location is in Lawrenceville, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. It's like a suburb. I just want to find out more information about the Moors. I've always heard a lot about you guys, and I'm a Muslim, and I'm Aboriginal, but I want to learn as much as possible. So far, what I heard tonight, the little bit I heard, I haven't been on long, but I definitely am in complete agreement, and I would love to learn more. Can you hear me? Hello.
Islam,
Hello?
yes.
Islam.
Yes,
We can hear you
sister.
fine, sister.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's
Praise
pretty
Allah.
much it.
Islam.
Thank you.
If you would like to
Okay.
leave your email, we'll definitely be able to send you some study material and some more information. Islam.
Okay. All right. Should I text my email address, or I found you guys on Facebook? Should I just go to Moors in America and I guess inbox someone my email address, or how should I do that?
Okay, on Moors in
Hello?
America, if you want to contact through Moors in America, you could do it at BEY at moorsinamerica.com. That's the email for.
On Facebook. You could just send it to the Facebook page on there. That's fine.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll do that. That'll be easy. All right. Well, thanks so much. Very informative. That's pretty much.
All right, thank you. Also for the person on the 678 area code, please state your name and location.
Say Islam.
Okay, and yeah, to I think Sister Barry, I see your hand up. Feel free to speak.
Okay, yeah, I did have my hand up, but my phone it wouldn't unmute. So I've been, of course, attending meetings, you know, with Jason. And I just wanted to log in with my own phone today, because it's kind of been a journey for me, but I'm at the point where I'm really ready to like proclaim my nationality and just go forward. I just know I got so much to give, and I'm definitely gonna be an assistant, you know, with the uplifting of our people. So
Islam.
I'm excited.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm so happy to hear that, sister.
Well, yeah, so it's on and popping now. So I will be, you know, all in from this point forward. So y'all got all my information. So
praise Allah.
Yes.
Islam. All right, that's beautiful. All
I
right,
had one more thing, if I can.
you have the floor.
The sister from Atlanta, Georgia, reminded me of one of the things that's been heavy on my heart and mind for the past 3 months, and that's Brother Ahmad Arbery. I every time I come to the meetings, I hear that we won't do no radical speech and whatnot. But I'm also a believer in that is needed sometimes. But that's part of what's making me hesitant with like registering and moving forward with it, because I'm really feeling pushed to be able to do something from, whatever I can, do my part to make sure that these two vile human beings are put to death for what they did to that man. Now, from my understanding of radical speech, that makes me, I'm speaking radical speech. So I'm hard pressed to join within a membership where I feel like I could be judged or reprimanded because this is my fallout with, and a little more background than me. I done dibble dabbled in just about every religion. My belief is that you kind of need to study them all to really understand the big picture anyway, which is why I'm here. But all that studying was for me looking to get here because I've been trying to just figure out where the hell my people from. I'm that dude from New Orleans.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I left home when I was 17, joined the Marine Corps. I went in the Marine Corps. I was already something I was thinking about doing, but I was doing it to get away from home because I was doing a lot of stupid foolishness while I, in high school, out of high school. So I ended up getting popped for Grand Theft Auto. I was already in the process of speaking with my recruiter, and he was the one that got my charges dropped, so I didn't come out of high school as a felon. Because that to me is a real problem. Is the real problem that's plaguing our people, along with not really knowing who the hell they are. So, I say all that to say that I came out here by myself, but I still feel a need to change, these wicked laws that are still in place from an era that everybody's trying to say has passed. And I keep just getting called naive for even thinking like that. That's I almost cursed. I apologize.
You good?
That's depressing to me.
Islam. All right. I just want to say I feel where you're coming from, and when we say not talking radical, there's a methodology behind that. All right. And for the most part, it's because we have a natural nation, and we're not trying to put that in harm's way or in a way where it can be attacked. We're standing on something that's, that's legitimate and it's divine. Now, as far as protecting ourselves and doing these things, that's a must. That's a necessity, and that's a portion of what we're doing, or what we're starting at square one, actually. But that's a portion of what our mission is. All right, to build up our societies. And like with you being in California, I know the Bay Area, it's not really close to Southern California, but there's some Moors there that have a mission, and they may be able to plug you in with some more.
I'm close. I'm closer to LA, San Diego. I'm right in the middle of LA, San Diego.
Okay,
on
so
the Inland Empire River.
The Moors that I'm talking about, they have a mission in Oakland, California.
Yeah, that's like 8 hours away from me.
Yeah. All right. But they may be able to plug you in with some other Moors in South, in Southern Cali or closer to you. And the reason why this is necessary, okay, and that's why this also is up on the screen. I'm glad you said that, because, we stay in a mode where we know that it's the end times, that we have to get it together. We have to grow our own food. We have to have our own economy, that we have to be able to police ourselves. And it doesn't matter if nobody gets killed, this year, we're still in that mode. Like the rest of our people, they don't even think about it until they see these killings, and then they go back to normal, right? But we stay in this mode. And so what we're doing is building up our societies, because if it's just a couple of us, it don't matter what we claim. We have no power. But as a collective, all right, with our own governing structure and working as a unit, building up our own economies, and now not doing it as something that they created to abuse and misuse, doing it in our own status, which ties us back into the land. As Moorish Americans, we are the original inhabitants of the Americas. Then we can move as a unit, also, domestically, as far as, taking over neighborhoods, politically, economically, and everything else, having your own police or security force. So you don't have to worry about people being in your community that's not looking out for you, because you employ the ones that's in your community. But we have to do that. And then also internationally, whatever, because we've been done wrong, we're owed, for the injustices that we've suffered. We can pursue that stuff, but we have to work together as a unit. And we can't do any of that. Like, all of this stuff would just be talk unless we're actually working together, as a unit, and working to strengthen what we already have. Like, that's what I'm going to talk about really quickly. I don't want to take up too much more time. We have to be timely with our meetings.
And we can do this. We can do this offline if I'm taking up too much time.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just going to wrap this up for our Friday. And yeah, we can build offline. But basically, the Prophet established a religious society, body politic. And this also an answer to what the brother was asking earlier. Okay, this thing that's up on the screen, the brother had asked about, I think he said river or something like that about the Prophet. And I was saying, does he mean Riviere? Because I was,
that was it.
Referring to Riviere's law. All right, according to Riviere's law book, the Prophet established a nation state, not just a religious society. He set this thing up under, he incorporated the Moorish Science Temple of America as a religious society under this thing called Hurd's Revised Act. And it was one of the acts within Illinois' law. And it allowed for the creation of a religious society / body politic. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. Okay. And when he did this, okay, all right, it used to be a civic organization. He realized he needed to change it to a religious, because religious covered all that, and it's protected under the Second Amendment. So,
okay.
If he would have just did this and everybody was just meeting and taking collection like church, it would have just been a religious society. But he started to move as a nation, and he did certain things that satisfied the requisites under Riviere's law book, which establishes the proclamation of a nation, of an actual nation state of people. You have to have a self-sustaining group of people. He established over 100,000 members within 3 years, 36 temples throughout the hemisphere, even in allegedly in Cuba, in Mexico, possibly, but throughout the United States, from coast to coast. And they had their own economy. They had a newspaper, Moorish Guide, a Moorish manufacturing company, grocery stores, schools, and then it had to have a government. And he set up the government before he died. He established the government.
And where was this at?
This was done in Illinois, in Chicago. Okay.
Okay.
And, so these things that I'm listing, though, these were the prerequisites under Riviere's law book, which under international law state the existence of a nation state. All right. So he set up the government. We have executive rulers. Right, we have three forms of government, or three cabinets of government. We have the executive rulers, the Supreme Grand Council, the Supreme Grand Sheik. So these are the executive heads. Then we have the legislative body.
May I interject?
Sure.
Now, all those titles, I have questions about those titles, because I'm in a few groups on Facebook, and it sometimes it just appears like people just giving themselves the names, man. They're not being given those names through no official standpoint. At least I could be blind to it. But I see people walking around that I've interacted with on Facebook or any other social media, calling themselves sheik, but yet they're participating in activities using language, you know, and just doing things that don't line up with the bylaws that you guys recite in each one of these meetings.
That's right. And so they're more than likely doing that outside of our society. And the reason people
my question is, I'm sorry. I can't hear you, my bad.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So I was saying, like, the reason you'll see that is, you know, there are people that operate outside of the society so they can do whatever they want. Right? That has nothing to do with this, because no matter whether you're talking about Nigeria, whether you're talking about Iran, the United States, anywhere, there's going to be people who are going to be, you know, going against the grain. There's going to be people who are going to be fighting and argumentative. There's no way around that when dealing with people as a whole. We do have an official government that's been set up. We actually have things, they're done by appointment. So they have to be appointed. And so we do have this structure set up, this ongoing, all right? And the only thing that's missing is for the people to come in and to learn it, because that's a part of civics, learning your own government. And then also working with the government of the United States of America, because we have to work with it. We have to exercise who we are, all right? Just like, for example,
Islam,
we have,
I can get with that.
Say that again?
I said I can get with that.
Islam. So just like, for example, within this, okay, I'm in Columbus. If we have 200 Moors here and say we're going to have a block vote, all right, that's 200 Moors that are going to vote in unison in any direction. All right. We don't care about Democrat and all that. We can swing an election right off bat. We're registered as, you know, a block vote, and they're going to start coming to us. Like different people that are in, you know, positions like Congress and stuff like that, they're going to start coming to us to see what they can do for us to get in power. All right. And so that's one of the things of civic, okay, well, this is what we'll do. You know, this is what we need. And then following up with them, making sure that they're following through on what they're supposed to do, you know, and these are different things that everyone else is doing to play the game, you know, to secure what they need for their communities. And these are things that we're missing out on because our people sell us out. They're not like doing anything like that. Now, I'm not going to say nobody is, but for the most part, people aren't doing stuff like that.
Well, they most definitely are doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and they just, you know,
because they're Black and African American, and those don't count.
All right, and so this is one of the reasons why it's important, you know, to work with the society that the Prophet created. What I was saying was just the different things that he did. They qualified under international law, Rivier's law book. They qualified this religious organization as a body politic. All right, and that's what you see up on the screen.
Right.
Last step was when he went to the Pan American Conference in 1928 as a head of state representing us. Okay, so that activated the body politic portion of this Herd's Revised Statute, which is what the Moorish Science Temple of America was set up under. And that's when you realize how it's so important and why it's truly the only salvation for our people. A body politic, okay, it's a corporation. And when applied to the government, it signifies the state. The people who compose the body politic collectively take the name of a people or a nation, all right? They're citizens individually when considered in relation to their political rights and subjects as being submitted to the laws of the state. But they comprise a nation, all right? Another definition, the term is particularly appropriate to a public corporation invested with powers and duties of government. It is often used in a rather loose way to designate the state or nation or sovereign power of the government of a country or municipality. And so he established a body politic, a nation state, you know, an Islamic nation state within this country, right? That has self-autonomy. It can govern itself. It can govern its people, all right? And that gave us something to tie us back into the family of humans. But it didn't just tie us back into the family of humans. It also ties us in as the creators of civilization. It also ties us in as the original inhabitants of the Americas. So we have even greater claim, you know? So this solves a lot of our issues, but it doesn't work unless we work it as a collective. Otherwise, it's just sitting there, because the way that it's set up, it never expires. It does not expire. All right? So it's just, you know, it's the numbers dwindled down, and they did everything they could to hide it and bury it. They sure don't talk about it on TV. They do everything they can not to even sneeze and accidentally mention them more. They don't tell you anything about this in school, and they will never even mention Prophet Noble Drew Ali until we do it. And we have our own schools, and we force them.
The one thing I noticed coming up though in my younger years is that, you know, they were getting mentioned in movies, but people weren't. They were mentioning them in movies all the time, but people were just glossing over it. I know movies is just entertainment, but they put. I'm a believer, and they put little stuff in there like to put it right in front of us to taunt us with it. That's my thought process on it.
Controlled disclosure.
Islam, can I add to what he was saying? Like, we was on Facebook, Douglas L. You saw this with the where he was talking about the Pledge of Allegiance and for the Republic in which it stands, and then it ended up saying she was like they added that part in the 1950s, and then he was like, well, why did they add it? And then it was a pause, and then the girl said, I don't know, why don't we ask the Moors? Islam.
Yeah, I've seen that. No,
Yeah, I don't know what movie that's from, but I saw that clip too.
But I definitely appreciate this. I need a little bit more of this. You know, keep my mental right. 'Cause I need to go down the rabbit hole, but I can't. I'm recently coming out of depression, if we're being completely transparent within this group. Started going to therapy about a month ago. That's been working out and helped me voice a lot of the noise that's been going on, and that's what I call it, the noise, because it wasn't quite understandable or I don't know the word. You know, I couldn't understand what it was until I started talking about it. So it made my thoughts become clearer, which is helping me be able to even have these discussions, because before I'll be an anxiety-ridden individual, barely be able to talk right now. So this is all new to me, but believe you me, I'm all I can keep saying is I'm tired, man. So
Islam. All right, I hear you. Before we close out today, please make sure you share your email in the chat. And also to everyone else in the room, please share your email. For the ones on the phone, we have your number, so you're good. Did the person with the 678 area code? Okay, for the person with the 678 area code, please share your name and location. All right, so I guess we need to go ahead and take them out. But I want to thank everyone else for sharing your information. One thing that I do want to say though, just for the brother that, you know, was just speaking, we appreciate you. I hear where you're coming from. It's good to read the Holy Quran and, you know, to build on it with us, because that helps a lot with, you know, as far as just building up your connection to your higher self within. And that can lead, you know, to an overall balance, you know, in anything that you're going through in life. And as far as, you know, just what we do, we work together, and we're more action oriented, where, you know, we're just not talking. We get together and we take small, you know, calculated steps to reach, you know, our goals. Okay. And so we do this in our community. And then we also are linked with the other temples within the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know, to work on national goals, all right, within our government. So we're working together, you know, even though it's not going to be talked about on CNN, we're working together, you know, to make it happen and do what we need to do. And so that's what we're about, you know, and that's why we, you know, advise everybody to come on and join and, you know, work with your Moors to build up our society. All right.
So,
Islam. So let's see, that's all that we had to share today. Unless anyone else has anything they want to ask or add, we're going to go into the closing of the meeting. Okay, so yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming in. First, I'm sorry, I do apologize. Brother Jackson Bay, can you please read the additional laws?
Islam, praise Allah. Additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheiks and governors and heads of all temples or businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali before acting upon by any member, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restrictions, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adab meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finances to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able to finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making public speeches, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radically against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out of your Sunday school come the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live, and by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Islam, Islam, Islamism.
Islamism. All right, thank you, brother. Brother Cole Bay, please read the writs of the prophet.
Islam. I raise and give honors to the great God Allah. I raise and give honors to Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Happy holiday, everybody.
To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is instructions from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto the forefather divine and national creed that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of times are drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear. At least they will be confined to their sins. These are the trying hours now, my dear Moors. And every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles and your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, and in their homes and on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards to Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who violate who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or violates the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past, that it is through the faithful Moors that have attributed the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respects to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finances, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finances so badly as I do in the present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my work, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Islam, Islam, Islamism.
Islamism. All right, thank you, brother. Okay, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We're going to go ahead and close out. For everybody that gave your email. We'll send you the registration so that you can go on and join and proclaim your nationality. And we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you all for coming in. If you're able to, please rise and face the east for the closing prayer. Right, just rise, face the east. Put your heels together like a V shape. So your feet are at a 45-degree angle. And hold your arms up perpendicular, 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left. You do not need to repeat after me. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine creed and principles. We ask this in our holy name in the 7 Elohim. Amen. Amen. All right, peace and love. Once again, I want to thank all you Moors for coming. Appreciate you all.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Happy Holy Day, more.
Happy Holy Day.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, bro.
Peace and love. Happy Holy Day.
If you don't know it.
Happy Holy Day. Eat something.
Happy Holy Day.
Islam.